This is going to be a four-part series of finding the wins on SEC football teams. Mike, when we look at the 2026 football schedules, we're going to chop it into four different episodes. And in this episode, we're going to be looking at the Vegas odds and trying to find the wins for Alabama, Arkansas, Auburn, and Florida. So, hope y'all stick around and enjoy it.
Excited for this one, man.
Yeah, this is a concept that we kind of came up with, and I think it's going to be really, really fun. A little bit more prep work went into it than just kind of being which is still going to be conversational, obviously, but a
Right.
little bit more prep work, a little bit more thought needs to go into something like this. And realistically, dude, if you think about it, Vegas did half the work for us, so
Yep.
that makes it pretty easy. But yeah, we're going to break this thing down. This is part one of the Find the Win series, and I think that this will be something cool to carry on into the future every single season. Um,
Yeah. I think so,
I
man.
think I think it'll be really, really cool. So, man, looking at the four teams that we're going to discuss today, Mike, three out of the four teams had terrible seasons last year.
Yeah.
Three out of the four teams don't have the same head coach as they did last year, and
Yeah.
it just kind of speaks to the record that they had. And somehow Bama, even though that there were some struggles last season, somehow Bama still ended up with a great season last year at 10-2. So
Yeah.
um, we're going to take a look at these Vegas odds, Mike. We're going to just go with what Vegas thinks as far as the odds, whether it's over or under the win total. And let's go ahead and just start right out, man, with Alabama, Mike. If you want to lead us off on Bama.
Yeah, man. And yeah, you're right. Bama had a good season last year, man. I think they just have such a high standard that if they struggle at all, it doesn't, people are like, what's wrong with them? Um,
Yeah.
and I think that reflects here going into the Vegas odds. Again, we're sticking with those. So this is not us predicting schedules. We're just trying to find these wins on these teams according to how that Vegas odds is. I believe on
Right.
this one, Adam, you said that the Vegas is in favor of them getting over 8.5. Is that correct? Correct me if I'm wrong on that.
Yeah, that's correct. So Vegas
Okay.
says that Vegas is leading 9 wins for Alabama
Nine wins.
next season.
Yeah. So yeah, looking over this, man, I'll just kind of be quick on this and show you where I think the 9 wins are. Without just going through here and breaking the schedule down, man.
Right.
Obviously, when I look at this, I try to find the easy teams right off the rip, man. When I said, your games that you pretty much are paying teams to come play you so you can practice, right? So, it's starting right off with East Carolina, man. I got that's one of their wins. Um, and then moving right along, might as well count them as a practice team sometimes. But they can upset people. I'm hating and I'm kidding. But Kentucky, man, Bama's got Kentucky for their second game of the season there. And I think that's one of their wins, man. I do. Um, I think Florida State is going to be their a third win. I think they're going to get revenge on that from last year. Um, and I really do. I think Florida State started off pretty hot last year, but I think they're going to get um, the third win there. I do think South Carolina's a tough team, but I think Bama, that'll be their fourth win. I want to give that to Bama over South Carolina. I think Mississippi State will be their fifth win. So I've got them going 5-0 right off the rip there, according to
Yeah.
that. Like I said, I don't want to break down the schedule, but just giving you their wins.
Yeah.
And then looking over the rest of what they have, and we're getting 9 wins out of this team, according to Vegas, right? So I'm going to give you the 9 wins. I've got Tennessee being their sixth win, man. I hate to say it and hate to do that to us, but I'm gonna have to put Tennessee as another win, and then I've got Vanderbilt on a seventh win. Chattanooga, that's just like East Carolina. That's your other team right there. That's those two guaranteed. East Carolina, Chattanooga. I think you got to go with as
Right.
guaranteed wins. None of these others are guaranteed wins, by the way. I just don't feel like some of these SEC games. I mean, you got a few in there you could say is pretty much a guarantee, but
Yeah.
where the way that these schedules are working out now, there's not a lot of cupcake teams getting stuck on the SEC schedules. Um, so I'd have to, and like I said, Chattanooga there is the eighth win. Definitely a game would go either way, but I'm going to throw Auburn as the ninth win just because of how they were last year, and I think
Yep.
it is a rivalry game, so obviously that can go either way. But if we're getting 9 wins out of that schedule that I've seen, I'm going to give Auburn as their ninth win.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's really fun to look at these things and try to, because you could go either way on a lot of this stuff, man. I mean, honestly,
Absolutely,
and obviously the home and away factor plays into it majorly, Mike. That's
absolutely.
kind of what I'm dealing with here, to be honest with you. Um, man, it's a little tough.
Looking at, did you have differences? I guess we could do it that way too. Like,
Well,
repeat. Did you have out of what I said on
so
those 9?
right, so just like you, man, I found myself having Bama 5-0,
Yeah,
going into that Georgia game. East Carolina, Kentucky, Florida State, South Carolina, Mississippi State. I mean, 3 out of those 5 games are home games, and the two of the weaker opponents are away games. So, I mean, Mississippi State's away game, Kentucky's an away game. So, I mean, I really don't see them having an issue through the first 5 games. So that's 5
I don't
W's right
either.
there. I'm aligned with you there.
Yeah,
Um, they do play Tennessee at Tennessee. Tennessee has beat Bama the past. They have beaten Bama at home in recent years a couple times. That's a tough one. I don't know enough about Tennessee at the moment, so I'm
yeah,
gonna align. I'm gonna align myself with you again, Mike, on this one, and I'm gonna give that sixth win to Alabama over Tennessee. And then, of course, like you said, Vanderbilt, Chattanooga. So here's what I'm dealing with, Mike. I'm struggling to find that ninth win, and it's between Texas A&M and Auburn.
yeah.
Both of them are home games. I almost want to. I almost want to give the other win to Texas A&M over Auburn just because of that Iron Bowl and how crazy it gets and how tight it's
Yeah,
played year in and year out, no matter how Auburn's doing or
yeah,
Bama's doing. So I'm just for the sake of being a little bit different because I mean the 9 wins could be identical if I chose Auburn, but part of me wants to take the ninth win coming over Texas A&M. So
yeah.
um,
Go with your gut on this. I feel like
yeah,
it's like I said, this is not a prediction of schedule or a prediction of record by any means. I
right,
feel like we're just agreeing with what Vegas says, right? Vegas says now. Obviously,
yep,
we could go into these games and break down who Vegas picks and do all that. We're not going
right,
completely with Vegas. We're just saying, all right, what are the 9 wins that we think that they're going to get out of that. So, I mean, that's why I say go with your gut on that one, man. And I could see that. The Auburn one, like I even said, I struggled with it just because I know how it is. I think I just felt that Texas A&M's the better team. Um,
yep,
and we'll be doing their schedules on the Vegas odds at some point as well. Well, Auburn, we will be this episode, so we'll get to really break them down. So, um,
yeah.
yeah, man, I could get that though. I think it does kind of come down between those. Um, and I think most people would agree. I would say Vegas definitely agrees on those first 5 games with what we
Right.
said. If you did the odds for each game at the first
Yep.
of the season, but yeah,
Yep.
I
If
definitely
they
think you
drop
go
a
either way
game,
on that.
if they drop a game throughout those first 5, I mean, you have a completely different outlook on what this team is, and then you actually have a hard time finding 9 wins after that. If you want to be
Yeah,
honest about it, we are talking about the same Bama team that lost week 1 and then went on to win 10 wins. I
yeah.
mean,
Oh
so
yeah. Yeah, obviously that could change. I mean, South Carolina, Florida State. I mean, obviously Florida State beat them last year, wasn't supposed to, but just
right,
looking at it, man, and out of their schedule, I feel like you got to win those 5 games almost to make sure to
right.
get 9, because I mean, there's some tough teams on that late in the later half of the schedule for
Oh
sure.
yeah,
So I think if you don't go 5-0 in the beginning, Vegas might be wrong, on the mound there, but
Yeah.
yeah, looking at it there, that the ones I could feel confident about getting the nine. That's who I would say their 9 wins would be.
Yeah, and we can save this for a completely different episode, but I do want to just brush on it and just put it on the minds of the viewers. You're also looking at a very motivated head coach. I mean, someone who probably feels like this could be make or break it. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? Like,
right.
Kalen DeBoer is. I'm sure there's a lot of people in Alabama that have a love hate relationship with the guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he knows the importance. He
Oh yeah,
definitely has to
yeah.
know the importance of the season for sure. So
Facing a lot of pressure this season.
yeah,
Yeah. So there you have it, man. I mean, we were able to dive into Alabama and find those 9 wins.
yeah,
Um, this this next team, Mike, in Arkansas, we might. I don't know if we'll be as lucky to find the wins here, but I will say that Arkansas does have a new head coach this season.
yeah,
Um, and Ryan Silverfield. Yeah, he used to coach at Memphis. Had a really good career at
yeah,
Memphis as a head coach. He's got a heck of a job in front of him, man. Arkansas went 2-10 last season in the regular
yeah.
season.
It's kind of crazy to think that with the offensive talent though that they had to go
Yeah,
2-10 and some of the close games they had that
yeah,
could have went either way too. So I mean, it felt like they were a better team. So when you said 2-10, it kind of hit me too, and I looked it up and I was like, man, it doesn't seem like that was a 2-10 team last year, but they were,
yeah,
And I think it was a thing of you lose so many close games and your season starts falling apart later in the year. But
yeah,
yeah, you're right,
yeah.
man.
I forgot how bad they did last season. To be honest with you,
Yeah.
I really did.
What's the over under? Did they get what does Vegas have on
Yeah.
this one?
So Vegas has Arkansas at 4.5 wins. I mean,
Yeah.
anything's better than last season. I mean,
Yeah.
anything's better than last season. So yeah, Vegas has Arkansas sitting at 4.5 wins predicted, and they're leaning heavily, from what I understand, towards the under. So you're really looking at 4 wins,
4 wins.
3 wins. Who knows? We're going with Vegas here. We're going to try to find 4 wins on this schedule, Mike.
Yeah.
Starting off to open the season up against North Alabama. I mean, I feel like that's a W for sure. I'm going to skip down to September 26th against Tulsa. I'm going to give them a win there.
Yeah.
And geez, they have a pretty tough schedule here. Wow. For the sake of
Are we trying to give
finding
them
the
four
4th one.
wins?
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I
Yeah.
can find 4 wins. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm having a tough time right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Because if I'm not mistaken, Mike, last season was Utah was pretty daggone good last season, right?
I believe so. Yeah. Yeah, they're usually pretty tough. Um, I
Where you
struggled
at
finding.
on it so far?
I got North Alabama and Tulsa, just like you do. And if we're pushing for 4 wins, because I'm gonna be honest, that's the two that I only two I really feel comfortable. Um,
Right,
and like I said, we're not schedule predicting here, so I don't have to feel completely comfortable about all these. But let's just say they win 4 games. Who I think would be those four
right,
teams? I think
right,
Tulsa. I think North Alabama. I think Vanderbilt. This does not mean I believe that Vanderbilt will lose to Arkansas. This
right,
is if there's going to be 4 wins, who could it be? And I think Vanderbilt's
right.
going to, not be the same Vanderbilt like they were last year. It's a tough one, man, because I originally was looking at Utah, but like you said, thinking back on it, Utah was tough last year.
Yeah, I
Um,
looked it up, Mike, and Utah
yeah,
finished the season 11-2 last year.
yeah, I just don't see that happening, man. I honestly, man, all right, I'm just gonna say North Alabama Tulsa is who we obviously feel comfortable about. Vanderbilt being another team that I don't think will be the same. And I'm just because they've been kind of hit or miss, I'm gonna say Missouri. I
Okay.
think that they've got a little worse. since a few years ago when they had a really good season. Um,
Right.
that might be way out of left field, but we're talking like just trying to find this team 4
Yeah.
wins,
Yeah.
and I'm just going to
Yeah.
stick with that.
Yeah. That's fair. And that's the name of the series that we're creating here. Find the wins.
Yeah,
And it's a tall task for sure. So yeah, North Alabama, Tulsa. I agree with you on Vanderbilt. I think that we're going to see a completely different Vanderbilt team this season, and probably not a better Vanderbilt team. I can see your argument for beating Missouri. I would either have to go Missouri or Utah. One of those two teams, I
yeah,
would think they might be able to win. So
yeah,
yeah, we'll just call it Missouri on that one because I feel
yeah.
better about that pick than
Yeah.
the Utah pick.
And I originally thought Utah myself, but then I got to thinking, I was like, if Utah is as good as they were last year, that
Right.
I don't see that. So yeah, I think those four are about the only thing you can go with on there as a if you're going to pick 4 wins. Um,
Yeah.
you know, I guess South Carolina was a team that didn't do too good last year, but they got Sellers back again, man, and
Yep.
I don't see
Re-
that happening.
Realistically, I mean, I know Vegas gives them a 4.5, and the favor is leaning more towards the under. Man, I mean,
Yeah, and I can
I'd
see
be more
why.
comfortable. Yeah, I would be more comfortable picking 3 wins, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah. We're doing four only because that 4.5, if you're going under, we're just going to the next
Yeah,
spot
yeah.
there down to 4. But yeah, I'm like you. I'd feel more comfortable going 3 myself.
And Mike, this could be a situation where, like I said to start the whole Arkansas segment off, they've got a new head coach
Yeah.
coming off of the season that they had last year. I mean, there's only one way to go, and that's up. I mean,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
you can't do too much worse than you did last season. So, and
Yeah.
hope I would
If
like
you
to think
do,
as
then
like
there's
as
big problems.
right, 100%. And I would like to think as competitors in college football, the returning guys, if there are any
Yeah.
returning guys, would like to do something
Yeah.
better than they did last season and put a little bit more
Yeah.
effort and all that.
Yeah. But it could be the same, man, looking at that schedule, but hey,
That's a tough schedule.
it's a tough one, dude.
That is much tougher of a schedule than Bam.
Yeah, just had to have some,
Well, they got a lot
you
of the
know,
same opponents.
Yeah, I think it's
But
just
yeah,
that this difference in teams is what makes it
yeah,
feel that way. Bama's a much more capable team, it feels like,
right.
than Arkansas right now. So it's like they're like, coming from the bottom of the barrel, they're taking on some juggernauts throughout the year. So um they just don't seem favored in a lot of these games.
There you are. 4 wins for Arkansas. They've got no other place to go but up, man, compared to last season.
Yeah.
So here's a team, Mike, in Auburn that I'm not an Auburn fan. I'm just a fan of football in general, SEC included. I am a fan of their new head coach, Alex Golesh.
Yeah.
Obviously, as a Tennessee fan, um, I have a lot of respect for him. He brought electricity to Tennessee. Part of the reason
Yeah.
why Tennessee is where it's at right now, I firmly do believe that.
Yeah.
Finally landed at a big time school in Auburn. This will be his first season, and I mean, taking over a program like Auburn, I mean, with the rich traditions, the history, I mean, I really do feel like he's going to be a good fit down there. We're looking at Vegas odds of 6.5 wins, Mike, and everything that I've read says that they're kind of leaning towards the under on that one. So
Okay.
we'll call it finding 6 wins on the Auburn
6 wins.
football schedule, Mike.
This one actually feels a little easier looking at it. I- believe it or not, like so with six wins, I think Auburn's going to take Baylor. I think they're going to beat Southern Miss.
uh,
Southern Miss, I feel like that's one of those that's on the schedule to be an easier game. I think they're going to beat Vanderbilt. Um, I think they're going to beat Sanford. Mississippi State is another one. I don't think Mississippi State's they were not good last year. I don't think they're going to be great this coming year. I know they started off and then it kind of really showed through the season, but I think
right.
Mississippi State's one that Auburn's going to beat. And I think Arkansas is one Auburn's going to beat. If I'm looking for 6 wins, I honestly feel pretty good about picking that. I think Arkansas's, like I said, in order here for their schedule: Baylor, Southern Miss, Vanderbilt, Arkansas, Mississippi State, and Sanford. And I mean, Sanford. Arkansas, Mississippi State, Southern Miss, and Baylor. I mean, I don't know much about Baylor. I guess I don't want to not give them
Right.
credit, but even Vanderbilt, I feel kind of good about those six teams right
Yeah.
there. So
Yeah, that's surprisingly easy, man, to find 6 wins on
yeah,
this. I'm looking at their schedule in its totality right in front of me, dude. I'm kinda
yeah,
shocked that the favor is leaning towards the under on this team, to be
yeah.
honest with you.
Because I could see them. I mean, Florida that and is a team that could go either way.
Right.
I just could see 7 wins potentially out of Auburn this year, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
Could be wrong.
Yeah. I'd have to agree with that, and realistically, maybe even Ole Miss. I mean,
Yeah,
I know we're creeping well past the 6 wins here because if they beat Florida and Ole Miss combined with the teams that you listed, you're looking at
yeah,
8 wins, but it just seems like Auburn's always one of those teams, dude, that you just don't know. I mean, ask Bama. You know, even in
yeah,
Bama's heyday when they're winning natties, they always seem to struggle with Auburn.
yeah,
So yeah, but like you said, if we're finding 6 wins, I mean,
yeah,
I know it seems kind of boring, but I can't help but agree with you on it, man. Baylor, Southern Miss, Vandy, Arkansas, Mississippi State, and Sanford. I mean, I truly do feel like those are surefire wins for this team,
yeah.
without question.
And that may seem like the boring answer, but when you're looking at
Right,
that, it just those are the six teams that I truly do feel confident. Like, and you got, like I said, all we got to do is find 6 wins here. Um,
right.
and obviously the others get more tricky when you get into Florida and Ole Miss, and of course you got Georgia, Bama, LSU. I mean, they got tough opponents. Those
Yep.
games that those other 6 games are tough, and
Right.
and maybe that's where Vegas is leaning more on the under, just because you do have teams like that are
Yep.
towards the top of the SEC with. I mean, LSU, Georgia, and Bama. That's three very tough teams to have to play in one season. Um, when you're looking at that, so that might be the reason, because outside of those 6 teams we mentioned, it gets a lot more iffy, right?
Right.
You're
Right.
talking about Ole Miss and Florida as iffy games. And then the others, I would even say in favor of the other teams. So I guess I can see why Vegas is saying that, because we're going like by odds of, you know, but it's interesting because they gave Arkansas, I still think Arkansas getting 4 wins might be harder than picking 6 wins for Auburn, you
Yep.
know? So, but technically, if that's all those 6 games is all they win, then Vegas is right on that. So
Right.
those seem like surefire wins for them. So,
Yeah.
but usually if you got a team that, you know, somewhere in those 6 games, and even if you're the underdog in every one of them, some point it seems like you could upset one of them.
Yeah, I mean, considering last season, in the regular season, they went 5-7. So I mean,
Yeah,
you would like to think under a new regime, and like I said, an incredible coach. I mean, what he did at South
yeah,
Florida at his short time there as a coach, he did great. What he did
yeah,
at Tennessee as an offensive coordinator, he did great.
hmm,
I feel like on the offensive side of things, um, is what Auburn was lacking last season anyway. So I mean, you've
yeah,
already got an instant upgrade, in my opinion, from last season just by getting a new head coach.
yeah,
Now, what their personnel looks like on the field and stuff, I don't know. I mean,
right,
did some of the South Florida players that Alex Golesh had follow him to Auburn? I'm sure they did.
yeah,
I'm sure he made it a priority to make an impact and make a name for himself as a first year SEC head coach. So, I mean, I'm sure they opened the checkbook up for him, and I'm sure he's got some weapons to run that offense. You have
yeah,
to have weapons. I mean, we know that as
yeah.
Tennessee fans. So,
Wonder if
yeah,
Auburn fans will feel a little disrespected in getting that under for 6 wins, or for seven
right.
or 6.5 the under. So, um,
I would.
yeah, but I don't know. Like I said, I just feel like this is when I feel more comfortable about 7. Really, I think that's an easy one for us to pick on that, man. I know we were the same on that.
Yeah, without question, man. That kind of leads us into this next one. And this next
Yep.
one, in my opinion, is kind of a shock factor on the other end of the spectrum from Vegas, in my
Yeah.
opinion, Mike. So, from what I have written down, is Vegas has Florida at 7.5 wins. Okay.
Yeah.
Which from last season, Florida only won 4 games last season. It was
Yeah.
I mean, I would imagine Florida fans would chalk that up as one of their worst seasons in memory. I mean, it was very, very, very bad.
Yeah.
They finally got Billy Napier out of there, and they've got another new head coach, Mike. This is the third new head coach we've talked about on the show tonight. John Summerall. He
Yeah.
coached at Troy and Tulane. He's got a very impressive head coaching record overall, 34-6 at his stops at Troy and Tulane. So the guy
Yeah.
obviously can win football games. A little bit different competition now, obviously, but
Right.
um, can we find 7 wins on this? Because Vegas is leaning
So
under, so 7.5 wins,
seven and a
and
half. I'm leaning
finding 7 will be. I feel like it might be a tough task here, man.
I mean, the first two are easy. Florida Atlantic and Campbell. They're starting their
Right,
season off very, very easy. Um,
right,
you know, and so that's those two were no brainer. Um, and I'm gonna go Auburn just because you know, on the previous, that's definitely one I think that would be iffy, but I could also see Auburn winning that. So, I mentioned that, but we're
right.
we're finding their 7 wins, right? So I didn't
Yep.
include them in Auburn's 6 wins. So I'm going to say that Auburn is a team there. That'd be my third. I've got Kentucky and Vanderbilt. That's my five. I'm going to say Missouri on their
Okay.
sixth one, dude. I know Florida State's on there. See, now I'm tough. This is tough. Do I pick Missouri? Do I pick? Well, we're going seven
Well,
wins.
yep,
Seven. So
yep.
Florida State, Missouri. So one
Gotcha.
more time. Florida Atlantic, Campbell, Auburn, Missouri, Kentucky, Vanderbilt, Florida State. But I don't know that
Yep,
I feel comfortable about them getting seven. But if I'm picking seven, I would have liked to seen that Auburn and Florida almost flipped. Um,
yep.
and I could have felt a little more comfortable about giving Auburn maybe seven. I mean, I do feel comfortable with Florida Atlantic, Campbell, Kentucky, and Vanderbilt. That's four that I feel pretty comfortable. And then maybe I'm just undercutting Missouri, but how's Florida State going to be? I mean, you know, they took care of Florida last year, right? Okay, it's a rivalry game, so that's always a close one. I think that's why I'm going to give them Florida State as the seventh one, just because it's a rivalry game. And if Florida gets some of those wins throughout the season, then maybe they'll be good enough to take that game. So
Gotcha.
I'm going to stick with it. I might be wrong. I'll let you see what you got. Do you those seven that I mentioned there? Do you got any
Gotcha.
differences or who you would throw in
Yeah.
on that?
So uh, first and foremost, I do want to say that it would be much easier to find 6 wins for this Florida team.
Yeah.
And really, even 6 wins might be pushing it. You can't help but just think about what they did on the field last season, man. I mean, they lost their quarterback, DJ Lagway,
Hmm.
even though he didn't really do much last year, but they put all their stock into him. You know what I mean? And
Right.
they made it seem like
Right.
he was the future of Florida football. Well, you don't have him anymore. Um, you've got a new coach, which can spark a team, or there could be some growing pains in a
Right.
situation like that. So offer it without question, super easy. Florida Atlantic Campbell. I mean, that's a no brainer. For the
Yeah.
sake of what we picked for Auburn, I am going to include Auburn. So that's 3 there.
Yeah.
Um, and then I think the only difference, Mike, that I'm going to go with, and I base this off of home and away. So I looked at the Florida State game at the end of the season, and it's at Florida State. So
It's true.
um, in a rivalry game, I like to think that the home teams, in a good rivalry game, I like to think that the home teams typically take care of business. Um, so I'm going to give the other wins to. They're going to beat Missouri, South Carolina, and then I'm tacking on for my sixth and seventh wins, Kentucky and Vanderbilt. So
Yeah.
just flipping Florida State and
Yeah.
South Carolina, maybe. Um,
And see, that's where I was struggling with, but now looking at the way you were, I mean, I could definitely get that point. And that might even make more sense, to be honest, man. Yours might be more accurate, and I mean, I'll stick with what I said, just for the sake that's what I said. So,
right.
but yeah, your argument is definitely good there on that one, and I was struggling between those two.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could see that. I think the consensus on this one is that Florida Atlantic, Campbell, Kentucky, and Vanderbilt are really the four that we truly feel
Right.
comfortable about. Um,
Yep.
and dude, on that schedule, the ones I said, even Missouri and with Auburn, I mean, obviously with
Yeah.
Auburn we're conflicted. I really only feel comfortable about those four that I said,
Right.
with
Same.
Kentucky, Vanderbilt, Florida, and Florida Atlantic and Campbell, and I feel like we're aligned on that. Um, it's kind of up in the air for those other three. Um, I definitely don't see them beating some of them other teams that we didn't mention there. So,
Yeah.
um, for Vegas, we had to pick seven. But
Makes
definitely
sense.
that one was difficult. I think Arkansas and Florida was the most difficult in this series, um, on finding the wins. I mean, when you got four that you're completely comfortable with, and you got to pick seven, that makes it
Yeah.
tough, to get a full seven for this team.
Yeah,
Um,
it almost makes you wonder what Vegas, which you can always ask yourself this question,
yeah,
but it makes you wonder what Vegas knows that we don't know because I mean,
yeah,
like I said, man, you're looking at a Florida team who really just, I mean, for lack of a better term, was just absolute trash last season. I mean,
yeah,
not a good football team at all.
no,
4-8. I mean, you are hard pressed to find 7 wins
no.
on a schedule like this. Now, I will say one thing, Mike, based off of their season or based off their schedule from last season, I do say that it on paper, just at a glance, it does look like an easier schedule than their schedule last season.
They did
Uh,
have a gauntlet of a schedule
yeah,
last year. I think that kind of beat them down as they went through.
yeah,
Um, you know, so I mean, yeah, you are right there. Interesting, man. Just looking over this, and this is one of those
yeah,
first teams that we come across that we play every year typically. Not seeing
right.
Tennessee on that schedule is weird, man.
It is.
It's weird to see, because this is the first team,
Yeah,
like I said, that we're coming across that we're used to playing every year, and not seeing Tennessee on there is definitely going to be something to take some getting used to, man. But yeah, that's an interesting. Out of the two, I'm most shocked by. I mean, I guess I'm a little bit shocked with Auburn on the under, and then Florida, is leaning the under, but they're leaning towards 7.5 on
right,
the odds. That's probably the
right.
most shocking to me. And
Yep,
then Arkansas, and that one was difficult, but I mean, I guess 4.5's not a big prediction, so I could
right.
see maybe the prediction on that, but I would say that Florida one was the kind of the most shocking for me. Looking at these on there, so it's definitely cool to take a look at this. I know this is a little different than how some of our podcasts have been,
Yeah,
um, maybe a little more technical, maybe but it kind of makes you think. Like, and if you're watching this still, um, you know, obviously leave in the comments, let us know what you think on this. But we challenge you to kind of look over these next the rest of the SEC teams, because we're going to be doing that through these next episodes. Get yourself an idea of what you think.
yep,
These find the wins on these teams. Um, and I hope that makes sense to everybody that's been watching it too, kind of how we explain that with the Vegas odds. If it's obviously if it's 8.5 and they take the over, we're just going to round up to the 9. If it's 8.5 and they take the under, we just drop down to the 8. And that's kind of
yep.
how we're doing this. And picking these wins, it's harder than you think. It really is, man. And I thought I was fully prepared for it, and as I started really
Yeah,
looking, I still had questions. Um,
same.
so it definitely is something that put some thought on, and I think that can go either way in ways. Um, and obviously we're not predicting their schedules necessarily, like this is what their records are. And you almost want to start getting into that as you're talking about it. It's like I
It's hard
almost want to
not
start
to.
telling you why. Yeah, I almost want to tell you why they're going to win this many games.
With this first episode in the Find the Win series, so far, man, I'm really not agreeing with Vegas all that
Yeah,
much, like down to a T.
right.
Because it's so quick to get on the betting apps or get on Google and just kind of see, okay, 2026 Alabama football win total uh,
Yeah,
prediction, and it's easy to see that 8.5 in front of you and say, oh yeah, I mean they could easily win 9 games. But when you really start looking at the schedule, like you said, Mike, and it's right in front of you, it's a different. it's a different feeling.
Yep.
I myself also thought that I was prepared for this, and when you really just sit down and put that schedule in front of you, man, and start dissecting it and thinking about it,
Yeah.
it's a little bit tougher than you think.
Yeah, man. Hey, I might be making some bets after we do this series, dude. I mean, I, I would feel pretty confident taking that under on that 7.5 for Florida, and that under
Easily.
for Arkansas, man.
Yep.
I really would. So, I might have to, I mean, I know that's leaning in the Vegas odds, so it makes it safer, but, you don't win as much off of it, but I don't know. I would feel pretty confident taking that, looking over these schedules. I might have an idea. Might have to make some bets after this is all said and done.
Yeah, what we're trying to do is pave the way for our listeners to make a little bit of money this year.
Yeah. Just don't come after us whenever.
Yeah.
I didn't tell you to put a second mortgage up on your house so you can place those
Yeah.
bets.
Yeah, we're not in any way affiliated with, any sports betting, apps or
No.
anything, but, honestly, Mike, just looking at it and stuff, I mean, you said you would feel very comfortable taking the under on a couple of those teams.
Yeah.
Dude, to maybe even win some money, Vegas has Bama favored in the over. I'd feel probably comfortable taking the under on 8.5. I mean, 8 wins.
Yeah. 8-win
I
season.
mean, you know?
And on the flip side of that, I would almost feel comfortable taking the over for Auburn
Yeah,
potentially. Um,
you never know, dude.
if you want to get a little more risky on your bets and not just go with Vegas, um,
Yeah,
on it
that's where
on
the
that,
money's
yeah,
at.
yeah. Get a little if you want a little risky, get on that where the odds are against you there. I might just say take Auburn on the over, but don't follow me for more financial advice, please.
Yeah. Yeah, if you really wanna risk it, put you a parlay together and take the under on Bama, the over on Auburn.
Yeah, in fact, go ahead and put all 16 together by the end of this series,
There you
and
go.
then you place a $5 bet for a chance to win like $3,000. Those pan out all the time, right?
Hey, don't tempt me with a good time. I'll do
It's like
it.
you always read like the safe bets are to never take these big parlays, but there's something about placing $5 on like odds of plus 10,000 that just really gets you going for the day, you know?
Oh, yeah.
But I could
Because
win $10,000.
if you hit, you're genius,
Yeah,
you
I
know?
knew it was going to happen. I knew it all along. But this has been a fun one though, man. I think as this series goes, it'll be fun. I hope like I said, if you're watching out there and stuff, get involved with it too, because I think that'll make it
Yeah.
fun. Give us some of your ideas on, or do you agree with some of these? Were you kind of shocked by what these odds were, the Vegas odds, um, on these teams and the win totals that they chose to pick for them? Um, as always, make sure to like and subscribe, helps us out. We just keep trying to climb in the following there, and
Yep.
follow us on TikTok, but also make sure to subscribe to YouTube, the channel, and we post our shorts on YouTube too. But yeah, that's where you get our full episodes if you want to really get more of a deep dive, other than just some of the main topics you're going to see in the shorts.
Yep.
We try to give you a little bit there to see what the podcast was about. But Adam, you got anything, man? You wanna add to it?
Well, I know that this is like future talk here, but something that'll be really cool, Mike, at the end of the season
Yeah,
is to go back and I
yeah,
don't know if you made notes throughout the episode or what. I did. I'm gonna
yeah,
save these notes. And I think it would be really cool at the end of the season to refer back to these notes and see
yeah,
where we stood with this series, man, because I think this has obviously this is just us testing the waters with a new
yeah.
idea, a new approach, and it's just a 4 episode series. So, but it's
Right.
something really cool, and like I said, I think it'll be cool to to go back when the season's all said and done and take a look at
Absolutely.
how closely we predicted this stuff in June.
Yeah, yeah, it'll be fun to see, man.
Yeah, that'd be
And yeah,
cool.
I will do the same. I'll keep notes with what I've got. I'll probably try to get some together just so that way I don't have to. Once I get talking, sometimes I'm bad to just try to stop and write stuff down. I'll just get my ideas beforehand. So, but
Yeah.
yeah, man, I think that'd be cool to see. You know how
Mhm.
That way we can come back and see if we predicted it right or not, on the wins that we thought they'd get. So
Yep.
but yeah, dude, as always, man, it's been a good time, and look forward to the next few episodes on this. Make sure if you're watching, tune in for the next ones as well if you want to see us get through the rest of the SEC there. But as always, man, it's been a fun one, Adam. I'll see you, dude.
All right. Take care, brother.